What do you got there, cowboy?
First cast. I don't think it's small. It feels like a nice one.
Spot lock, so
oh, look at that. Oh, cool. Look at that, he's jumping.
Do I have to hand grab him in 47-degree water? Can I use a net today?
There we go. First cast, I wasn't even sure if we were close enough to the spot. Beautiful smallie. And this rig has become one of my absolute favorites and go-tos. Is this VMC Finesse Nico. And the hookup rate with the Nico hook is, as you know, just incredible. And this one has a keeper. Actually thread a floating fluke on there. Have the hook coming right out the back. Drop shot weight. You can catch dozens and dozens and dozens of fish without ever monkeying with your bait. Just keep fishing and keep catching. They obviously are liking it. There's obviously some fish here. Cool.
Beauty.
Fall's got to be one of the absolute best times to smallmouth fish, and there's a ton of baits that work when the water's 50 or warmer. You know, they'll move up, they'll hit jerk baits and certainly colder jerk baits too, but a swim bait and football jig. But when it gets below 50, you typically want to slow down more. A tube is very good, a drop shot, and then a spoon, of course, like Ryan's fishing. The fish are going to get real consolidated on their areas where they're going to spend the entire winter, and they'll become real lethargic as the water freezes. But prior to it freezing, there's periods where they'll bite more and be more aggressive. Sometimes they'll slide up on top of things, up to the crown or up on a break. They like the steep breaks and the big boulders, and that's what we've got here is this little point extension with the saddle, big rocks, and we're just kind of poking around, seeing where there's a big concentration of fish.
Right below the boat. That's a fun bite, man. The line just jumped. Quality fish too. Look at them just bulldogging. They're so scrappy even in this cold water. Nice one, not giant, but nice. All I'm doing is making a little pitch cast out with this spoon and then hopping it back to the boat. Slow hops. I mean, I don't want to get too aggressive in this cold water. These fish aren't chasing stuff that's moving extremely erratic. I'm just kind of hopping that bait back to the boat. We'll shoot some underwaters of this bait so you can kind of see what we're doing. But those fish are real bottom oriented right now. They're hugging tight. And at this time of year, it's a bait fish pattern a lot of the time. So Dan has on, you know, a bait fish profile plastic. And then with this crippled herring, I mean, that's what we're doing. We're replicating, you know, forage real well. Bottom hugging forage. You know, take a look at that bait. The gold one right now, you know, we're fishing to that mid 20 foot range, so there's not a lot of light down there, but it's got a nice chrome reflective finish and a minnow profile, and it's a good hook and bait with that single treble hook. They get that whole thing in their mouth. So good spoon fishing combo for me. I like bait casting gear. I'm dealing with good sized fish. In a spoon, like a 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce spoon, has some stress on your line, so baitcaster 12-pound fluorocarbon line. I like a little bit shorter rod for this open water winter presentation with a short butt, and I'm just making little hops. This is a medium power rod, fast action, and paired up with just a good high-speed reel, something 7-to-1 or faster, so you can remove slack quickly when you get bit, because those bites are coming on the fall. I want to be able to reel down quickly on the fish and just give them a little hook set. So a compact rod reel combo, 12-pound fluoro seems to be about right. You can see what I mean, guys, is pay attention to your electronics. This is a bait fish pattern on this particular winter hole right now. We got a school something, probably perch, shiner minnows, maybe tulipy. If I see that, I'll sometimes just reel that spoon up a little bit so I'm actually below the boat. There we go. There we go. Look at them, just wallowing. So one thing I've noticed today in this deep water is keep working that bait all the way back to the boat. I've had a couple really good bites darn near below the boat, like I'm vertical fishing a drop shot. And you know, they're stout this time of year. I mean, feeding heavily all summer long. The overall size dimensions of the fish are pretty terrific. After a good feeding season going in the winter, they might, you know, starting to support some egg mass maybe, but that's where you just run into these really fat little pigs. And you can get some of your biggest fish of the year outside of the pre-spawn you know, in the late fall period. That's not a giant fish, but you can see fitness. They're just healthy. They're pretty. And you're not fighting the crowds when it's 28 degrees. You know, you get into the deer season time frame, a lot of the pressure on these fish goes away. And I just have a hard time putting the boat away until we have ice. Snow on the shore right now, and we're gonna keep catching smallmouth until the lake freezes. It's pretty cool. There you go.
Boy, I was starting to wonder if I shouldn't switch to a spoon, Ryan, after you caught so many, but this is oh, look at that, it's a giant. Oh my gosh, it's a huge one. Wow, interesting. I mean, it's always fun fishing with a buddy to experiment with different lures and always fish different techniques. It's just fun to experiment and see what the fish prefer. And oh, look at that one, Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Got a good hook in them.
Yeah. Cool. Right in the top of the snoot. I mean, there's that finesse Nico. You can see the little keeper on the hook. You can thread plastics on. As long as you're not around cover wood and weeds and things, you'll snag in, but that hook is sticking straight out the back, so it's an exposed hook. Your hooking and landing percentage is just through the roof. And this is a fun way to catch them, but it's cool to experiment, you know, drop shot, a spoon. We'll throw some other baits at them too and see what else they'll bite. Boy, that's a gorgeous fish. Beauty.